What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So I'm watching a YouTube channel from a man named Peter Santinello. Peter Santinello goes to many cities across America, and he talks about the city's demographics. He interviews people that's been living within the city for years. He, of course, again, he talks to residents. He talks to law enforcement. He talks to he shows us a tour of the big landmarks, etc., within the city. And it's a brilliant YouTube channel, right? He goes to Chicago. While he's in Chicago, he records the migrants that have come to Chicago. Many have come from Venezuela, etc. And a lot of them are living within the police stations in Chicago. He goes to the police stations. He speaks Spanish, or he talks to some of the migrants. And then he sees a homeless black man who's outside of the station, and this homeless black man gives a pair of his shoes to one of the migrants. I've discussed this in a previous video. And so when he does this, he started talking about, it's a kind gesture. He had a lot of different pairs of shoes. He had like three pairs of shoes, and he saw one of the migrants needed a pair of shoes, so he gave him a pair. And I'm like, man, that is humanity at its height. But what's not humanity is the fact that that black man, that brother, who is an American citizen, he can't come within the police department and stay there. They won't allow him to come in there and sleep or anything, right? He cannot seek refuge within a police station at all. They're not going to let him in at all. And that's where things started to get sticky. I am a God-fearing man. I'm a man who's all about humanity. But what I don't like is like you can help both the migrants and the homeless population in Chicago. People have been home, there's so many homeless people all throughout the city of Chicago. A lot of them laying on the sidewalks downtown, laying on the side of highways, and, camped up under viaducts. They under viaducts and all of that, camped out in tents, etc., or just laying on the bare ground or have a cover over the top of them. And nobody is trying to house them. The migrants, on the other hand, are being well taken care of. They are being allowed to stay within the police station. They're not, when homeless people go to homeless shelters, in the morning, they got to leave. And they can't come back until a certain time at night. Okay? They cannot. The migrants, they're at the police station. They can stay there. They're not forced to leave at all. They're not forced to, they don't kick them out in the morning. None of that, right? And a lot of people will say, well, it's because they have children with them, right? And of course I respect that. And children should not be no human should be subjected to just being out on the street homeless or whatever. But for the most of all, children. But the homeless people is people who are homeless that have children with them, and they still force those kids and their parents to leave in the morning, right? The migrants, the food is brought to them, clothes are brought to them. They have access to way more resources than American homeless people. And something about that rubs me the wrong way. Like, for real, they are paid to be, they're paying landlords to house the migrants. They are paying landlords to house the migrants in places. They're not trying to set up the homeless with any place to live at all. And that just don't sit right within my spirit. Yes, you should help the migrants, but help the American citizens too, the American people too. Like what's the use of being an American citizen if you're going to give migrants better treatment and better care than me? I might as well be an immigrant if that's the case. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. What's the use of that? And we have a homeless problem in Chicago. Everybody knows that. Yet they not trying to house them. Chicago is a place where winters are extremely harsh. And they got them all outside, willy-nilly, whatever. Now some can come and go to homeless shelters, etc. But they're not trying to house them. They're not paying the landlords to house them. None of that. But the migrants, they are allowed to seek safe haven in the police stations and come and go as they please. And to me, it's just like, man, it made me feel away. It really makes me feel away. That black brother, the homeless brother, he like, they're not going to help me with anything. I can't stay in there. I can't spend a night, none of that. They going to tell me I got to go. But the migrants get the help. There was another brother he was talking to. The brother was from North Carolina. Basically, His father died. His father was in Chicago. He came to Chicago. He was working as a cook out in North Carolina. He came to Chicago to bury his father, put all that he had into giving his father a funeral and burying him, etc. He was staying in his father's home for a month. While there for a month, he goes out to go try to find a job in Chicago. Because he had to get like a certification to cook it. I don't think he probably needed some type of certification. I'm sure he needed a certification, but it was some other thing that he needed in Chicago that he didn't need in North Carolina. But anyway, so he couldn't work at certain places. So he goes out to try to find a job. While he's gone, they put a padlock on the house. He cannot get back in that house at all after he leaves out. So he's been on the street for months now, trying to make something work for himself, trying to make something happen. And he like, yo, I'm out here sleeping in the tent. He's sleeping in the tent. I forgot where. Somewhere he's sleeping in the tent. And he's like, yo, I don't have any resources to help me. And I'm looking at that like, yo, all the migrants getting all the resources necessary to be set up and to have something of their own. And the homeless are just completely disregarded. They're completely disregarded. They like, for real, like the migrants are made to leave and come back at night like homeless people are at homeless shelters. And yeah, man, you can take care of both of these people, man. You can both groups of people. You can take care of the homeless in Chicago, the homeless Americans, and you can take care of the migrants as well. You know, it's just really, I see that it's really disheartening. I'm stuttering. It's disheartening to watch American citizens trying to make it, and they didn't feel on hard times. Not everybody who's homeless was on drugs or negligent. Some people just fell on hard times. Look at how the economy is today. Some people don't get one pay. People live in paycheck to paycheck out here. It's a reality. Really, man, it's a reality. Look how much rent is going up, etc. People just trying to get by as best as possible. And they not getting no type of help, no type of services for them. They just left in the cold, left in the dark to fend for themselves. While migrants are getting certain resources, they getting set up properly. Not even if they're not getting furniture or nothing, but they at least getting somewhere to be warm, to be safe, to lay their head at night. That's not outside where rainfall can get on them, or they can be cold at night, or they can be out in the open and subjected to attacks from certain people or whatever, right? It's messed up. It's messed up. You can help both. I want Chicago to know y'all can help both the migrants and the homeless. You really can. And they don't get no food brought to them and clothes brought to them and stuff. Nobody cares about them. They looked at it as the scum of the earth, like the dirt at the bottom of your shoe. While the migrants are looked at with a certain, they looked at better. They're looked at as more, they're given more sympathy, more empathy. And if we all human beings should be given, human beings who are upstanding, who are not, corrupt individuals, they should be all human beings who aren't corrupt or vile people. They should be looked at with humanity, with empathy. People should put themselves in those people's shoes, man. You never know what can happen in this lifetime. A lot of people, man, a couple of missed checks away from being out on the street. A lot of people, man, if things went left tomorrow, they wouldn't know what to do and where to turn to. And then they're going to be treated as bums, as scum. They're going to be shoo-shooed and poo-pooed away and left to be out in the dark and the cold by American people while the migrants get hugs and kisses. And brought in, and they get certain situations that the homeless been vying for years. So I want to say that Chicago, you can help both the migrants and the homeless. For sure. Machiavelli Mills.